All right. Are you all able to see my screen? Perfect. I see a yes. And yes, please interact with the chat. We definitely want this to be interactive as we're a smaller audience. So feel free to raise a hand, throw something in the chat. Um, what we want to talk about, this will be a brief conversation because this is only an hour, right? We can go maybe 15 or 20 minutes over for your specific situation if necessary, but this is only going to be about an hour. We want to talk briefly about behavior, environment, and then the systems that shape every financial decision you make before you make it. We have the host, Mike Pear. I'm the co-host, Brandon Biddles, and this is presented with both of us, Biddles Group and Mike Pear. So your agenda for today, at a high level, we're going to review this agenda. We're going to try to give you some action items. If you tell us what your situation is, we'll be more adequate or more, accurate as far as giving you next steps on what to do. We're going to invite you to some of our programs that we have that will be able to help you, and then we'll do the Q&A session and have kind of a discussion. So first will be the welcome and introductions. Digging into the agenda, we'll introduce ourselves. We have a live poll for you all to fill out. I know some of you are driving, so if you can't fill it out, it's probably fine. And then we'll dig into some core teaching. We'll open it up to Q&A, and then we'll do next steps. I think we might actually field a few questions prior to just to get a little bit more engagement. So we're just not delivering information to you. Feel free to let us know to slow down or can you re-review a concept? We are here to help you as best that we can. Go ahead, Mike.
Good. Hello, my name is Michael Pear, and I've been in the software industry for 26 years. I recently retired, but I've always had a passion for financial topics, education. So went and got my insurance license recently, but I've been in this foundations and personal finance field for a long time. And so my story is that I don't know if any of you all read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, but it basically is a story about him talking about he had a friend of his that his dad was a businessman, where his mother and father were just regular W-2 employees, and how he said how they dealt differently with the concept of money and how they managed it and just the lessons that he learned as a kid. And so I read that book as an adult, but then when I reflected upon it, I knew that I had actually experienced the same thing. So my rich dad and poor dad, my rich dad was my aunt and uncle, and my poor dad was my mother and father. And it was just a stark difference in terms of how they dealt with money. And so that really left an indelible mark on me. And so I just really just embrace what my uncle taught me at a young age. And he taught me a lot of wisdom about just saving, credit, got me started on investments and things of that nature. And so I just took those things and just continued to build on them throughout my life. And so as I got older, I realized that what I learned was not common. And so I took it upon myself to say, hey, let me share this information. And so that led me to start MikePairMoney.com. And so that's my story. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mike. My name is Brandon Biddles. I work in healthcare and I do this financial literacy kind of as community outreach and as a business. And so I have started Biddles Investment Group. We specialize in investment education, wealth strategy, and financial consulting. We usually help organizations. So I've sat as a treasurer for a lot of community nonprofits or mission-driven businesses so that they can strengthen not only their financial foundation with their employees, but us, their customers, and the community as well. I have experience in investment research, business advisory, nonprofit leadership, MBA in finance, PMP certified, and CFEI certified through the NFEC, which I know you don't know what these are, but these are just financial accreditations. And so you can always definitely go Google them. But I am embedded in the work since 2007 when I was trying to get my master's degree. I wanted to be a CFO, and so that naturally led me down the private equity course, hedge fund course, and then ultimately stocks. And I understand like financial literacy is definitely important, not more so in this day and age, and the practices that go along with it, because healthcare is very expensive, groceries, gas. You probably know that you've been spending quite a lot more wherever you go, whenever you leave the house. And so it's going to be very important that we address financial literacy within the community. So now I'm going to start the poll. This slide here, I want you all to take a little bit of time, read each level, because this is directly related to the poll. And then once I start the poll, you all let me know if you can see it.
Yeah, and I would say for those that are driving, I'll just kind of highlight. So level one, and so I'm gonna call out each level and just see if any of these apply to you. So surviving, level one. Um, you have to have credit cards or borrowing in order to pay your bills every month because you're running a deficit. You don't actually have enough to cover everything. And then if one crisis come up, you may not have the extra cash on hand to be able to pay for that. So that's just called surviving. Level two is stabilizing. Bills paid on time most months. You have 500 to $1,000 in savings. You do have some debt, but you're currently working it down. But you have not started saving for any retirement or just barely started. That's level two. Level three, you have 6 months worth of emergency savings. Uh, you have more money left over at the end of the month once all your bills are paid, and you are actively contributing to your retirement. And you have some form of insurance in place, be it disability and or life insurance. And that's level three. Level four is you live on a budget. You have all of that in place. You actively invest, and you're on track or ahead of your retirement savings. And you've even done some estate planning and tax strategy. And so you have the basics in place. You're doing some investing, and you're planning for retirement, and you're long down the line pretty well with that. So that is level four. So hopefully
Okay.
that helps for anybody that may be driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did okay, I do see some poll results coming in, so that's exciting. So one person completed. So you all are able to see the poll, right? And you're going through it.
Good. So as you all filling out the poll here, one thing I want you all to think about as well, and we're going to get into this in terms of psychology, but how did you, and you don't have to answer now, we'll get into it, but just to think about how did you form and learn some of your money habits? What was the environment that kind of shaped that? Was it things you learned on your own? Was it witnessing your parents, your friends, your family, or did you get some level of education, or did you have the benefit of somebody coming alongside you and mentoring you in that respect? So we're going to be interested to dive down into that because we can get into the details of actually the things you need to do with your money and stuff like that. But that's only if you're of the mindset and you're ready to take the steps and have the mindset where it's like, hey, I know this is what I need to do here. I need to do that, and so I'm ready to actually put a action plan in place and carry it forward. However, for some people, there's fear, there's emotion around money, there's stress around money. There may be some knowledge gaps. Then there can be just some self talk too. So we just want to get into that a little bit as well.
No, thanks
So
for
let us,
introducing that.
yes,
So
sir.
what we're gonna do, I'm looking at three of three, so I think we got maybe one more poll result coming in. So I'm gonna flip to another slide if you don't need this one anymore. I know, raise a hand if you still need this one. But I want you all to either come off mute or if you can, throw it in the chat. We do know that some people are driving, so it's perfectly fine. Don't put yourself at risk. But here are some money sayings that parents or friends probably told you. Money doesn't grow on trees. So that's valuing it or saying that things are scarce. You only live once. So that's you want experiences or you just want to spend it all. Rich people are greedy. So that means money is quietly harmful. I deserve this. That's care or justification. I kind of jumped out of order. But money is made to be spent, which is often harmful to people. I want to save for a rainy day, which is a helpful thing. Do you all have any sayings? You can throw it in the chat. You can come off mute. If your parents or your godparents, grandparents, friends, if they have any sayings, or if you have a saying yourself, that's your motto regarding money, let us know what it is.
Anybody like to start? Y'all a quiet group.
Hell, quiet group. They was talking earlier. Anybody got any?
Just jump in. But most of these are like things I heard growing up. And then as I got older, then surrounding myself with, people that either have money or, things of that stuff, it kind of reshaped the way that I, thought about money. So instead of like all of these are like lack of aspects of money or hard to obtain type things. So then once I got older, then I kind of flipped the script on how I thought about money. Like money comes to me frequently and abundantly, and money is the bridge to other things or things of that sort. So just that was my flip on it.
Okay. No, thank Johnny. That was good. I see in the chat, Janelle said you don't have any personal sayings related to money, but I know that you had mentioned that you have some risk aversions. Does that, was there anything kind of in your childhood or anything like that, or was it all based upon kind of seeing behind the curtain with you having actuarial experience in the insurance side? Did your aversion come from having that inside knowledge, or did you already have it?
I can't say I was exposed to anything that would have developed this kind of risk aversion that I had, what I have. I don't think my education did anything regarding that, I think it tried to like expand one's mind to, see the possibilities of how to do different things. But I just think it's a personality thing. I'm not sure where I developed it.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. All right.
All
Lou,
right.
did you have any? I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Nikki's
Brandon.
got her hand up.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Yes, thank you. I've heard the saying "money doesn't grow on trees," and I also grew up, and I heard this from my parents and other people too, like friends and religious people from my religious sector, saying that money is the root of all evil. So I grew up thinking like, oh, if I made too much money or if I tried to get money, like it was a bad thing, and that it would make you want to do bad things. So I guess, growing up, I was just kind of just taught, go out, find a job, get a job, try to make some money to earn, to make a living and to, have some money to get the things that I need, but don't like inspired to get rich or to have too much money. And then I guess because of my ignorance, because I was really ignorant, I didn't have any knowledge of how money works or how to invest or how to save or, any of the good things about money. I didn't have that knowledge. So I just knew, okay, just go out, get a job, try to make some money to make ends meet and get the things that I need from it.
Okay. No, very good. And I think that's pretty common. It's unfortunate though, in terms of what you mentioned, that people will, and sometimes it's not deliberate, but they'll say that getting money is the root of all evil, but the scriptures actually say the love of money is the root of all evil, and it's really around how do you use it, because money can be used as a tool to actually do good things, do a lot of good things, because money just really gives you access. It's really what money is a tool to allow us to do. It gives you access to things that you may or may not be able to have access to with or without it. And so, but it's unfortunate because, like you say, we go through school, we go through life, and sometimes people may not develop good money habits, and then we don't have any formal training on it. And now you get old, you get older, you get a job, and you start making money, and then you got to try to figure all this stuff out, at once. And it's unfortunate, but it doesn't have to be that way, because there are a lot of resources out here, which some we provide as well, to be able to assist you and help you to kind of get a better handle on that. All right. I see we got two more people joining. We got Sita and Vince. Thanks for joining, Sita and Vince. So we're just talking about the psychology of money. How have you been shaped in terms of your money story? Was it developed in your youth? Did you develop it after you became an adult? And is it serving you well or not? So if you got any comments related to that. And thanks for sharing that, Nikki.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And Sita and Vince, are you able to see the poll that came out, or you don't see it? Thumbs up. It should be apparent if you can see it.
Yeah, if the poll's not visible, let us know and we can relaunch it again.
Yeah, we'll relaunch it again. It's just not. We'll go over the results, but I am gonna kind of preach to you, and Lou might have come across a lot of this information, so just try to stay in Lou. And if you want to share something after this that you might have read in that book, Lou, please feel free to you know, teach or chime in. So this next slide is about your money mindset. We can teach you about insurance, we can teach you about savings, we can teach you about budgeting, we can teach you about retirement, but if your mindset is not right, none of the concepts that we teach you or action items, action steps that we give you will really stick. You won't be disciplined in your money habits. So they'll kind of be like a diet. Some people, the first start of the year, they say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym to get the gym membership. And then, 3 months later, the gym membership is just charging you. So um, the money mindset is going to be very important. If you got to really prepare psychologically for this. By age 20, most people have already developed their emotional relationship with money, usually without realizing it. And so these are the four things which kind of create your actions surrounding money, your environment. So that's kind of what we alluded to, what your parents said about money, what they did with it, and that probably became your default. So I know there's a client of mine, she grew up, her parents would go to the pawn shop to pay bills. And so that naturally went to that child. And so when she got into a financial crunch, the only thing that she knew how to do to raise money was to go pawn her computer or go pawn different items, get the money, and then, try to make that back so she could re-get her items. Or they would go to payday loan places, which charge very high interest rates. And so that was a learned behavior. Emotion. So sometimes we stress shop, or you can stress, and then that leads to shopping, or gambling, or whatever the case may be. Thinking about scarcity. So we heard Yanni say that she has more of an abundance mindset when she talked earlier. And so comfort and shame attach themselves to dollars long before strategy does. Identity, people like us. So those kind of beliefs decide whether you see yourself as a spender, a saver, or an owner. Um, and if you think of well-to-do families and the conversations in well-to-do families, they're about businesses, open up businesses, how to save on taxes, how to, they're more complex situations that are for this. And so unfortunately, sometimes how we grew up is it's not a conversation. Even different cultures, they discuss raises at work between themselves, or salary packages, whereas we want to keep everything to ourselves. And so we never know what anybody's making, and it's a shameful conversation. It's like it's taboo, you're not supposed to talk about it. But if you have a true friend, they'll tell you what you make, or however it goes, and they'll tell you the strategies of how they are able to make that, right? And which you will be able, they'll empower you to level up, is simply what I'm saying. Habit. Most money decisions are made on autopilot. So thoughts plus emotions plus habits equal outcomes. Throw a yes in the chat if you've ever stress shopped. If you said, man, I deserve this, and you know you didn't have the money, but you just treated yourself anyway. Has anybody done that? Oh, thanks, Lou. I appreciate that. Has anybody stress shopped or said they deserve it, knowing that they did not have the money to, or they should have been spending that? Small
Yeah,
buys.
Janelle's small boss. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this next piece is, I do want to give this quote. Most people don't fail financially because they lack information. They fail because their habits, their environment, and beliefs around money were never addressed. So this is an internal, kind of external to your environment. The next step we have to do is talk about the machine, right? So the economy is designed to separate you from your money. Once you get your paycheck, there are multiple things around so that they can get your paycheck. One of those things is advertising and comparison. So every screen, you probably don't even count how many ads you get, right? If you're streaming, there are ads on there with the free plans. Instagram, as you scroll through 3 stories, there are sponsored ads on there. You're getting hit with ads day in and day out. Billboards, text messages, and so every screen is engineered to convert attention into purchase. Social media adds the comparison tax, buying things to match a feed that isn't real. 10,000 ad impressions, the average American sees per day. Pressure. Pressure number 2 is credit and buy now, pay later. So these are the those new services where you can buy now, pay later on small purchases. Debt has been quietly normalized. So frictionless payment splits a $300 decision into four $75 ones and removes the moment of choice. This is how much credit card balances are outstanding as of 2024, 1.17 trillion. And then pressure number 3, subscriptions and lifestyle creep. Now, I will share with you all real quick. I'll kind of go off script, but small recurring charges drain quietly. Every raise tries to convert itself into a new fixed expense before it ever reaches an account. $219 is the average monthly subscription spend. Most underestimate that by half. And you probably say, I don't spend that. Because if I looked at that number, I would say, I don't spend that. But when I did my taxes, and I'm just going to show you real quick, it's not as pretty as the presentation. So just bear with me. I'm going to show you my subscriptions here. Be transparent with the small group that we have. So if we go up here, you can see I listed out all of my business expenses. I listed out my personal expenses here. And I listed out what I canceled. So in 2025, and I don't know if this is that big for you to see, but
Yes, look, that's better.
so 2025, you can see I was spending about 6,000 in expenses. If we divide that by, actually,
That's about $500 a month.
yeah, about 500 a month. Thank you.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go back. I'll undo that. Now what I did is I cut about 1,000 out. This is my cut savings over here. And so I'm still spending over the average on expenses. So I looked at that and I said, wow, I got to cut this in half. This doesn't make sense. So I'm looking at what I can cancel currently. So that's just being transparent with you. I also had to go call my homeowner's insurance and renegotiate new rates because your mortgage will go up if your insurance goes up, and they went up by double. So don't feel bad transferring services, negotiating your interest rates. These people, this economy is designed to get all of that money from you. We need to save as much as we can so that we can secure ourselves and then we can start to make that money grow. I'm going to stop here. I think that's it. Mike, did you have anything to share prior to the Q&A, or did you want to get into a little Q&A first?
Yeah, I think we can go into a little Q&A, and I may come back and share something. But one thing, well, and I will say this before we jump to that. In order for Brandon to be able to even show you the pieces with the subscriptions, he had to go through and itemize each of those items. And so that is a part of a budget. So a budget is very important to be able to figure out what you got coming in and what you got going out. Now, he just showed us a subsection of that as related to his expenses, but a budget covers that. And you really need to start there if you don't have one in place, because it sets the foundation in order for you to figure out what you have coming in and going out. And it's just like you can't really gauge anything that you don't measure. So if you know what's coming in, you know what's going out, then you can have a sense of control. And then once you have that listed, just like he had in that third column where he said, this is what I'm cutting, it was based upon what he knew he had coming in and going out. And then he can start making some adjustments there.
Yeah,
So it's
and
very
then
important.
we can redirect that cash. Like I can redirect that cash at my age. Now it will make sense for me to max out my Roth IRA. So I can redirect that cash to push that to max out the Roth IRA. I'm going to share the poll results because I think that's going to tell us where to go next. If you have a question, because we don't want to feel like we're just talking to you and we might have reviewed a lot of information fairly quickly, please come off mute. This is very personal, it's intimate, it's personal. We're together here. And you can throw any kind of questions in the chat. So from our poll, it looks like most are surviving and stabilizing. They're in level one, level two. Um, Most people here have tried to do a budget, but it didn't stick, or they haven't done it at all. And Social Security, one person says Social Security is designed to cover that. It's not. Social Security is not going to cover all your needs. As a matter of fact, 2034 is expected to go bankrupt. Will it? We don't know. But how much are they paying Social Security a month right now, Mike?
Yeah, the average Social Security payment is around $2,000, $2,100. But if you look at, and this is one of the pressures that we didn't have listed on the previous slide, just think about food prices and more recently gas prices, right? These are things that we've all had to deal with the high cost of inflation. So it's just costing us to maintain our living standard at a higher amount than it did, a couple years ago, even going back before the pandemic. So things are getting tighter, but salaries are not rising as fast as inflation. So you get squeezed in those areas as well.
Thank you.
But to this, yeah, but to the Social Security thing, it's only designed to be a portion of your retirement strategy, not all. But and the thing is, back in our parents' day, they had pensions, right? So you can work for a company 20, 30 years, you get a pension, and that was a guaranteed stream of money that you can rely on in retirement. However, now, just by a show of hands or quick, so it's probably about 7 or 8 of us here. How many of you all have pensions with your company or have had a pension with your company? Anybody? Anybody just say yes or all right. Janelle has one, so that's one. I had one, that's two. Anybody else? So we're talking
Yanni,
2 of 6. Yanni, okay. Three of 6. So we're talking 30%, right? Of out of the 9 people that we have. And so if you had that as an opportunity in your work career, that's something that's really good. However, for the other 60 to 70%, they don't have that additional income stream. So planning for retirement, planning your savings, um, that responsibility is largely up to you. And believe me, these years fly by. And so while you're younger, you have the opportunity to put some away. You really want to think about that.
all right. The next few questions are which of these money struggles hits closest to home? So we have high debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and no retirement savings, or way behind. And then we have, do you work in the gig economy? We've got one person, and then the others are W-2 employees only. And we have number 6, how would you rate your confidence investing money on your own? 67% said not confident, and then 33% said they have no idea even where to start. And then what's one thing that you want to leave here today knowing? So one said understand retirement, and another said apply a money mindset that actually changes my behavior. So that's, well, two people said that.
Okay.
So thank you for participating in the poll. I pulled it up. I don't know if you all can see it, but I think there's a QR code if you want to get these results. But it sounds like we should invite you to our financial foundations and kind of cover that. If you want to do the money journey and financial foundations, and then once we get the financial foundations, that's when we start investing and making our money work, giving you that clarity and that confidence to start your investment journey. So
Yeah, let me go ahead and share. All right. Thanks, Brandon. Can you all see my screen? Or financial levels?
Yep.
Can everyone see that? All right, thank you. All right, so we're gonna go to the money journey. So Brandon kind of mentioned this before. So we have a program called Foundations, and it's really the first part of the money journey. Starts with the budget, then so from there, and then after budget, and again, budget is just used to track expenses and your income coming in, and then it allows you to, once you have that and you're operating on that, then it allows you to make adjustments as you see what you have coming in, coming out, and then from there your expenses, if you tally those up for all of your household expenses, that'll give you a number. So let's just say, for instance, you may, for paying all your bills and taking care of everything, let's just say that's $2,500 a month. And what an emergency fund is in the event you lose your income or have a major expense comes up, you want to be able to save between 1 and 6 months, well, really between 3 and 6 months worth of emergency fund. And that typically is your household expenses. So in that example, we just make the number easy. So if you're doing $2,000 a month for your household expenses, 3 months of emergency fund will be $6,000 and 6 months will be $12,000. Now that may sound like a lot starting out, but what this is going to do is as you save and you put that money aside and put it in that emergency fund, then once a true emergency comes up, you can tap that emergency fund, pay for that expense, and still allow for your normal household budget to run without anything being altered. All right. Then from there, for those that are believers, if you tithe or you give money to charity, we believe that is very important. And then from there is like savings. So if you put a budget together, you start saving for your emergency fund, and this can be a continual thing. You allocate what you're going to give to your charitable giving, and that could be even given to family as well. And then you start to come up with different savings items. Like, okay, you all have goals. You know, what are some of the things that you're saving for? Some of you have children, you may be saving for college. Others, you may be saving for a house. Could be a variety of different things. And we teach savings and the concept of buckets. So I'm gonna just go forward. We have some insurance and investing and retirement. So these last three, we're not going to necessarily worry about right now for the discussion. Let's just focus on the first four. And so again, back to the budget, you track your earnings and you track expenses. Once you track those things, then you can start looking month over month. What do you need to revise in your budget? What do you need to cut? What can you cut? So for instance, in Brandon's case, he said, hey, maybe I can consolidate or eliminate some of the subscriptions. You can do that on car insurance. You can do that on a variety of things. But when you itemize aspects in your budget, it gives you that intelligence to be able to make those decisions. And then again, it allows you to free up some funds. And also you want to review. You want to review monthly, but definitely quarterly on your budget to see if things have changed. Because a lot of times for us, we know the big stuff. So I can probably ask all y'all, what's your house note? What's your car payment? Or what's your rent? How much you spend in groceries? You know, you may know those things pretty easily. However, subscriptions, going to Starbucks, or, buying that new dress, buying a new pair of shoes, or just going to the convenience store and picking up an item, or, giving kids money, ad hoc that's not on a schedule. Those things add up, and you need to be able to track them some way in your budget. Then from there, emergency fund. So again, even if you don't have an emergency fund today, come up with a budget, figure out what your monthly expenses are. And then even if you can only start saving $25 a pay period, start putting that to a side, then try to increase it. And what you want to do is get to a point where you can save 1 month of emergency fund, then 2 months. And ultimately you want to get to 6 months, because what that's going to do is in the event something comes up and as an emergency, you can tap that money for you, and it will help you. We talked about giving to your local church or charity. And then we talked about savings goals. So for here on the savings goal, you can say, hey, you can set some savings goals. So one may be I'm saving for a car, I'm saving for my kids' retirement. My kids' education, I'm saving for my retirement, I'm saving for a vacation, right? And so in these things, what we do in our foundations program is we sit down with you and we go through, we help you structure a budget in that thing. But then, like we spoke back a little bit earlier, is that we also help you with the mindset, because I could say, hey, are you ready to set up automatic bill pay? Because as Brandon talked about earlier, sometimes in our habits, sometimes we need to remove certain decision points out of our habits. And if we set them up automatically, they can just go and we can get accustomed to these things being paid on time. And bill pay can definitely help you with late fees and another added benefit to doing things with bill pay or automatic debits is that it can also help your credit score, because if you schedule these payments to go out, at a certain time every month, you're not incurring late fees, and those things are being paid every time. And so those are some of the benefits by using automation. And I heard this one lady say one time, she's a finance coach. She says, automation is the new discipline. So that's something that you want to put in place. And so with that, we teach aggressively these four categories of subjects. And so if I go here to our foundations piece, let me click on this screen. So you can see here, just scroll down. So we have some online courses. We do a monthly meeting, a group meeting to walk you through. We have some financial primers. There's a community that you can join. As a part of that as well, we provide email support. And so this is to walk you through, because some people, they may need to work on your mindset. Other people may be ready from a mindset perspective, but they lack the discipline. So us as coaches to be able to assist you, provide accountability. And then if you're one that likes to do things in a group setting, you can be a part of the community as well. And so that's kind of what we have in our foundations program there. So I'll just pause there for any questions on kind of what I just went through in this money journey. Makes sense? So going back to what you all said here let me go back.
We got one in the chat. Automation is the new discipline, which is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cedar wants to know the foundation program price.
Okay. Yeah, the foundation program price is $47 per month. So I'll go back here. $47 per month, and if you sign up today, we're doing discounts. So $47.99 a month on the foundations program, and this is to get you through these first 4 steps that we talked about here. And we provide the coaching to be able to track and ensure that you're making progress week over week, month over month.
Yeah, and one thing, I'm not sure, Cedar, if you fell into and for everybody, just at least, Mike, if you want to drop your link down there, they can at least sign up and get email information, right?
Oh yeah.
Email.
So if you just want to, in terms of the foundation program, or just in terms of so we have a free membership where you can just go get financial resources. We have a blog here as well, and so we can share those. But to get into the foundations program with the coaching, with the online classes, with the community, that's at the 47. But we do have a blog as well, and we have some financial topics here that you can go to.
Yep. And for you all that stay with us, if you think more like a business owner, because this might seem like an expense. You're like, I don't want to pay for to get my finances right. But if you know that you struggle and you're not disciplined, if you own a business, you go to a mentor. They help you get together. They help you with the planning. They help you with strategy, and you don't mind paying for that. So this is an investment, and we probably can find that fee that you'll be paying monthly in your budget for some items that you can probably cut that will pay for the program. So I wouldn't shy away or be scared about the price if anybody has any hesitation.
Right. Thank you for that, Brandon. And so I think there's a couple of you there that are beyond that initial piece with the foundations, and so that'll get you more into the investing and retirement. So if I just go forward here and we look at the investing piece, 401, 403b if you're a government employee, traditional Roth IRAs, mutual funds, bonds, stocks, um, real estate, businesses, and real estate. So in this investing realm, and then even on to retirement, that really gets us into what we call wealth building. So in our wealth building track, we cover those, and primarily we use wealth building from the perspective or teach it to where we use the stock market. So we teach people how to invest in the stock market. We have a weekly webinar that we go through and we call it the Wealth Builders Collective. So we teach you how to invest, how to look at stock market fundamentals, risk management. We look at macro and microeconomics in terms of what's happening at the economy level, what's happening geopolitically, and how that's affecting stocks. We also teach technical analysis. And so in our weekly webinar that we have, we go over charts, teaching you technical analysis from indicators to moving averages and all of those things. And so if that sounds foreign to you, we walk you through how to do that. We have courses and things that are available to be able to teach you how to go through and get some learning. So even here in our Wealth Builders, we have a stock market charting course, teaching you the very basics from looking at a chart, how to read charts, how to buy your first, how you buy your first stock, learn about stocks in 30 minutes, how to set up your brokerage account. And so we have a whole system and community around that for those that may be more advanced in that. And then, like we mentioned there, there's a part with insurance as well. You don't want to overlook insurance. And I know, I think it was that Nikki or
Yeah, it was Janelle.
Oh, Janelle. Yeah, she said she had some aversion to the insurance side, but you can use insurance in some ways to provide protection for you or not. It's a variety of different coverages, and there are some things you can get more exotic, or there's some basic things that you can do for insurance. But just think of insurance as, how do I transfer risk? So in the event that something happens, either I'm going to be responsible for it, or do I buy an insurance policy and I transfer that risk for somebody else to be responsible for it. At a really high level, that's what you're trying to do, is mitigate risk. Okay. So that's, that gets us into, the investing. And then for those that are planning for retirement, about to enter retirement, or even in retirement and post-retirement, there are a number of items there. When do you so when do you decide to collect your Social Security? What is Medicare? Medicare is the health insurance for seniors, right? What about long-term care? So as we know that we may have parents that have dealt with some healthcare issues, how do they pay for that? As we mentioned, someone talked about the Social Security. Social Security average payment is $2,100. If you're paying rent at $1,000 or $2,000, and how are you going to take care of long-term care in addition to just the everyday living expenses? So that's something that you have to factor in. Taxation, for those of you that have done well in your careers and you have a good amount of money in 401ks, 403bs, and the like, how do you start to withdraw that money? How is that money going to be taxed when you withdraw it? Then, preparing for death, right? I know people don't really want to have these discussions, but estate planning, what legal documents do you have in place? Do you have beneficiaries established? What about medical deals? Do you have certain wishes that you don't want to, you get into an accident, you get hospitalized? Do you want to leave that responsibility for choices, for resuscitation, for IVs, for blood transfusion? Do you want to leave that up to your family? Or do you want to have that specified in medical directives such that you've already said what that is, and those instructions will be carried on by the doctors, and you don't have to put that stress on your family? And then the distribution of your funds. When do you take your funds? What order do you take your funds? So these are things, and I really think about the retirement side is at you're talking people that are probably 55 on up to 80. They have to make a lot of decisions at an advanced age around the money that they've built over their life and how it's supposed to be distributed and managed. And typically, people with a decent amount of money, they usually have a finance guy that they go to. But I've seen cases that they offload that to someone, and sometimes those wealth management professionals do not have those seniors' best interests at heart. And they either put them in programs. Sometimes they put them in programs that they shouldn't be in. They're not suitable for them. Sometimes that there's knowledge gaps that they may have. And so I encourage anybody, even if you're not going to manage any of this stuff yourself, at least be somewhat aware of what things are at a minimal level, such that if you hear something that doesn't sound right, that someone is telling you, that you're giving them a responsibility of managing your money, you can say, that don't sound right. At least you'll have some wherewithal to be able to pick up on those things and ask questions, or to bring in someone else that a little bit more experienced than you are, and to come in and advocate on your behalf. But you want to ensure that you have a decent enough understanding if you choose not to manage this yourself and you turn it over to someone, or a lot of the stuff you can do yourself. You just have to spend the time to get educated. So,
Well, thanks for
all
that,
right.
Mike. I know we're kind of approaching the hour, so I just want to recap what we've done. We've taken a poll. We kind of understood where you all were at. We've invited you to our program. We let you know about money psychology, which is key. None of this that Mike covered will matter if your psychology or money mindset's not in place. And then what you're looking at right here is what you were supposed to be taught in school. All of this, everything we covered in this small amount of time. We can't go into detail because we are approaching the hour. And we did say that there will be Q&A. So I know we threw a lot of information at you. Are there any questions, Nikki, Sita, Vince, Yanni? Because this time is kind of for you, and we can kind of navigate you through whatever situation you're currently in and give you the best action tips or guidance to move forward. Is there anything top of concern for any of you at the moment? Nikki.
So I need to start take small steps because, like I said, I don't have any education or knowledge about how money works. So I think the best thing from what I gather with what you guys were saying is to start a budget. So how do I create a simple budget that will help me to just, I guess, take better hold on my finances? And then I had another question too, was that I was thinking of opening up a high yielding savings account. And I was told that you have to pay taxes on that, and you have to report it to the IRS at the end of the year. How do you do that?
Yeah. So I'll take those. So one is, you can, there are several different ways that you can go through to start around getting your budget set up. And so this is covered in what we do in foundations. And so that's something that we can help you with to get you started there. In terms of the second question is around the high yield savings account. Yes, typically anything that pays you interest, that pays you more than, I think it's $600 in interest, or sometimes it may be even less. They send what is called a 1099 to the IRS, and it shows up as income. And you have to file that income just like you get a W-2. You have to file that income on your taxes every year for any interest that you make.
Okay. Do
Yes,
I, oh, sorry.
No,
When
that's it.
you get the 1099 form, is that something that I take to the IRS, or is it something that you include in your taxes?
You include in your taxes. So if you go to a tax preparer, You just take that form with you and you show it to them. And what they'll do, so let's say, for instance, let's say you make $50,000 a year and you got, say, $200 interest payments for a high yield savings account. What they'll do is they'll just add your $50,000 plus that $200 together. So your total taxation would be on $50,200. So it's just income. They just add those income numbers together.
Oh, okay. Thank
And
you.
then whatever. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Anybody else? And I put some links in the chat in terms of some of the resources there. So if you all can see those, let me know. If not, I can put them on screen.
Oh, I see them. I'll
You
repost
see them?
them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anybody else?
We got another comment.
Another comment? Go ahead.
Oh no, I think that was you. Cedar says, interesting, thanks. So many good gems from Yanni. Nikki, anything, or Vince, anything that we can help you with right now? Because Mike and I do paid sessions, so this is free. This is paid free time that you get it. Any questions on your money journey that you are exploring or need guidance on? All right, Vince is good.
Okay. Now, so I'm gonna just walk through this a little bit and still keep those questions coming. But we put this as a free resource for you also. If you want to get this and download this, you can just go to the link in the chat. It's for the Money Series statistics. But we put this together to be able to show a few things. So let's just say, just listening to people, I think you're probably in the 26-35 or the next range. So it says these are just some of the statistics. 66% of workers from 25 to 34 have less than $50,000 saved for retirement. The median amount is $32,000, right? Then it says 68% of that same group have no long-term disability insurance outside of an employer plan. Why is that important? You are more likely to get injured while you're working than you are to die, right? And so if you miss, say, 6 months away from work and you don't have any short-term disability or long-term disability, then what's going to happen to your bills? Hopefully you have an emergency fund that you can cover that 6 month. But if you don't have an emergency fund and you don't have any disability that goes beyond that 6 months on the short term, and so short term is typically anything from day 1 to 6 months. Long-term disability is anything 6 months or longer. I know a guy that was out of work probably about 4 months, and his company put him on workers' comp. He told me that he got one check and he had to cover the other 3 months out of pocket. So this is something that a lot of people, they overlook. Most of your employer plans, they offer short-term and long-term disability at a group rate. It's pennies. It's probably maybe $2 or $3, $4, maybe $6 a pay, a month, or $3 a pay period. If your employer offer that, take that option, because again, insurance is just this thing. You don't think about it when you don't need it, but when you need it, you want it there. So I got a. Was there another question? Okay,
Let me
no.
get to
All right.
Cedar asked, is this the second free class? Cedar, this is our first Money Series event. If that helps, we'll be doing one every month. So please tell your friends and family members, anybody who you think can use some education.
Yep. And so ages 36 through 45 is the decade when most financial dominoes fall simultaneously. So it says 1 in 3 adults is in a sandwich generation. They have children that they're raising, but they also have aging parents that they may have some obligations in terms of helping them. And sometimes the obligation may not even be financial. It just may be time. It could be your mother and father live in a different state, and you have to negotiate, if you have siblings, with your siblings. Well, who's going to go and stay with mom and check on dad for a week? Who's going to fly there? Who has the time to take off work? Those are things, and ultimately it does sometimes come down to not just time, but then sometimes there are some expenses associated with that. So these are just things that you have to plan for. In that same group, it says 38% of people 36 to 45, they have no will, no estate plan, or no trust. And particularly if you have dependents, you want to have something in your will and your guardianship documents. Because if something happens to you, happens to your wife, or if some of you are single parents, something happens to you, who's going to raise those kids? Who do you want those kids to go to? Who do you not want the kids to go to? That's important as well. You want to have this in writing.
Right. We got
And so, yeah.
Steve is from Canada, and so she said, how
Okay.
would that work in Canada? Which I know they might have different types of
Yeah.
stuff.
So in Canada, what I would suggest you do, Sita, look for any nonprofit estate planning organizations in Canada, because they will have country specific and profit specific rules and laws. Touch base with them, and there's probably somebody that would do a free session with you, at least for the first 30 minutes, to just give you a high level and point you in the direction. We're not lawyers, and we don't know enough about the Canadian rules, but I think that'll get you started and point you in the right direction.
Okay. She said, yep, she'll do that. That's the thing. Thanks for joining and
All right.
sticking it through with us, Sita.
Absolutely. And so again, I know we covered a lot, but if you want this free resource, the link is here. It's the Money Series Statistics. You just put in your email, first name and last name. And does anybody have any objection for us to email them out some follow-up information as it relates to this? Because we have your emails from the Eventbrite sign up. So if you don't want to be contacted, just put in opt out into the chat. If we don't get that, we'll assume that everybody's okay with us emailing them. All right.
All right.
Any other questions, Embry? And want to be respectful of your time. Went over about 4 minutes. Thanks for everybody hanging in with us. But if you have some specific questions, it's just free form now. Ask us anything. All right. I'll take silence as there are no further questions. Again, we're greatly appreciate you all joining today, giving us the opportunity to just share this information. We will have a follow-up. And if you all can do us a favor, if there's a specific topic that you want us to go into next time with a little bit more detail, please just put it in the chat or email us, and we'll definitely put that down as an agenda item in the next meeting.
Yes, definitely. This is we're here for you and your friends and your family. So definitely invite them, put the word out. We want you to be equipped and empowered, because now is more important than ever to save as much as you can, make as much as you can, invest as much as you can, because we see what's happening just with our everyday life, with your paycheck, with your savings, with these inflation, healthcare prices, utility prices. Everything is up, and so this is very important that we can level up. Okay, we don't want to just survive; we want to thrive.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you
in the
all.
interest of time, we thank you all again. Y'all have a great day.